Hey guys, Nathan here, and I want to have a little bit of a philosophical discussion with you tonight. Now, I was reading this book called Awareness by Anthony DeMelo. Really good book, just really about being more aware and learning more about yourself, what makes you happy, and just some kind of guiding principles to how to live your life. And it's full of what do you, like parables. I think that's a word for it. For just different stories to illustrate life lessons. And one of the stories just kind of really stuck in my head for some reason. And when I was growing up and over the years, one of the things that really bothered me was when someone was taken before their time. And this is not to bash religion or anything, um, but lots of times we'll hear, oh, well, God called them back, he needed them. And I always kind of thought that was a bullshit answer, and I never really liked it. And when I read this story, it didn't necessarily give me an answer, but the story, or kind of the moral of the story, is the way of the world and the way things are. And the story is about this little boy. He lives in the jungle, and he's walking along the river, and he sees a crocodile trapped in a net. And the crocodile says to the little boy, you know, I'm trapped. Can you please release me? And the little boy is like, well, if I release you, then you're going to eat me. So why would I do that? And the crocodile said, I may look ugly, but I'm a mother. I have children. I was out getting food for my children, and I got caught in this net. And I would never kill my benefactor or the person who releases me from this. So the crocodile convinces the boy to release him, and as soon as he starts to remove the net from the crocodile snaps out and he bites the boy, and he's about to eat him. And the boy is like, is this how you treat the person who tries to save you? And the crocodile said, well, this is just the way of the world. And the boy said, no, it's not. And the crocodile said, ask anyone. And there was a bird flying by, and the boy said, bird, is what the crocodile said to me true? Is this the way of the world? And the bird said, well, I'm afraid it is. The other day I was flying home to my nest. I had some food for my little baby birds, and I saw a snake approaching the nest. And as I got closer, the snake was eating my little baby birds, and I was crying for help, and I couldn't do anything, and it just broke my heart and destroyed me. And I'm sorry to say, but this is just the way of the world. So the crocodile's like, there you have it. And the boy said, wait, give me another chance. And there was this old donkey walking by. So he says, donkey, is what the crocodile said to me true? Is this really the way of the world? And the donkey says, well, I'm afraid it is. I toiled and slaved for years and years for my master. He barely gave me enough food to keep me alive. And now I'm too old to do the work for him, and he cast me out. And I'm just wandering through this jungle, and it's only a matter of time before some beast comes along and eats me. So the crocodile's like, there you have it. And the boy's like, just give me one more chance. And there was this, kind of cute little bunny hopping along. He said, rabbit, is what the crocodile said to me true? And the rabbit said, wait a minute. So you told him what? After he agreed to free you? And the crocodile's like, yeah, that's just the way of the world. And the rabbit said, I think we need to have a bigger discussion on this. Release the boy so he can be involved. And the crocodile said, well, I'm a little smarter than that. If I release him, he'll escape. And the rabbit said, but you have your tail. If he tries to run away, you can whack him with your tail, and that'll kill him. And the crocodile is like, oh, okay. And he releases the boy, and the rabbit tells the boy to run. And the boy escapes, and the rabbit says, the crocodile's still kind of trapped in the net. You do like crocodile steak, don't you? And the boy said, I do. And he said, why don't you go back to your village, grab some men, and come back, and you can slay this crocodile, and you guys can have a big feast. So the boy did just that. He went back to his village. got the men. They, had their spears or their machetes, whatever they have, in this story, and they slayed the crocodile. And the boy's dog came along, and they were about to head back to the village to enjoy the crocodile, and the dog spotted the rabbit, and he ran after him, and the boy tried to save him, and by the time he got there, his dog had eaten the rabbit. And the boy said, the crocodile was right. This is just the way of the world. And, it's kind of interesting. The other day, for about a week now, there's been this spider web that builds outside of my, the window in my office. So every day I'll kind of take a Swiffer and I'll like clear away the spider web, and the next day it's back. Well, the other day I was looking out my window, and my view was obstructed again by this spider web, and all of a sudden I saw this wasp fly into it, and he was trapped. And this little spider is running towards the wasp. He's probably like a quarter the size of the wasp, and he was vicious. He attacked the wasp, and the wasp was trying to sting him, and it was quite a battle. I think the spider got some bites in, and he was kind of dodging the stinger of the wasp, and all of a sudden there was another spider, like the same species or genus, whatever you call it, but much bigger. This other spider was like the size of the wasp. So I'm not sure if it was like the parent of this other spider, or if they were just buddies and one was older. But anyway, the big spider is approaching these two, who are just going at it like crazy. And all of a sudden, the wasp breaks free, and he had a little spider with him, and they took off. So I'm not sure what happened with that. I'm not sure if the spider's venom eventually got to the wasp and the spider got away, or if maybe he didn't and the wasp ate the spider. But that's just the way of the world. So what's my point? My point is, one thing I always tell people is to cut news out of your life, because it's a big downer, and it just takes your focus away from the bigger things. And I guess part of my point is there's a lot of stuff, a lot of bad things that go on in this world. And unfortunately, you can't do anything about it. And a lot of people tend to kind of focus on these things. A lot of people I talk to, they'll be like, oh, did you hear about blah, blah, blah. And, wherever you go in the world, there's going to be these horrible things. And sadly, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. So rather than focusing on things you have no control over and things that are going to happen anyway, you watching the news doesn't change the outcome of these situations. Unless you start a charity or something that can, benefit those people being affected. But rather than being focused on things you have no control over, focus on you. Focus on what you can do to be your very best. Focus on what you can do to make this world a better, happier place. So this was, I guess, kind of a little bit of a rant, but let me know what you think about it. I mean, maybe I'm way off here, and maybe you agree with some of the things I said, but some of the other things were a little bit off. But let me hear from you. Leave me a comment on what you think about this, and I'd love to hear from you. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys soon.